Who was Sir Francis Drake? Well, if you've read much British history or Spanish colonial history, then you've got to have heard Francis Drake somewhere. And surprisingly, they both saw him the same way. To the British, he was a privateer who plundered Spain's colonies. And to the Spanish, he was a privateer who plundered their colonies. Arrgh. The word Drake refers to a type of lesser dragon. And like a dragon, Francis fell upon the Spaniards. He took their gold, and he kidnapped their princesses to hold them hostage in a tower. Okay, maybe not that last one. From a young age, Francis learned to hate the Spanish due to religious persecution by the Catholics of his home, which had nothing to do with Spain, except that Spain was chummy with the Catholic Church, because, you see, the Catholic Church in those days was run by a guy named Alexander VI. He was the Pope, and he was chummy with King Philip, who just so happened to be the Spanish king. So when Francis and his family were, driven from their home during the Catholic uprising of 1549, young Drake learned that Catholicism meant violenceism, at least to him, and the only way to fight violence is with violence. He could have settled down there, just farmed the fields in Devon and lived out his life, but he wanted more. He wanted the sea, to see the sea, for in seeing the sea he might find riches. So he went to sea, the North Sea, as an apprentice boatsman. He learned fast. He learned to read a map and read the stars, to use a steering wheel, a ship's steering wheel, and all kinds of other sailing things. Finally, he had mastered his shipmanship, and when the captain retired, he left young Drake master of his craft. Yet again, Drake had a chance for a peaceful life of sailing on the North Sea, but meager riches wasn't enough for him. He longed for greatness, and he was bold enough to take the chance. And he was also related to the Hawkins family, which had a fleet, so he sold his ship and joined up with them. They set sail for the West Indies, and when Drake got there, the Spanish stole his ship, beat him up, and killed his friends. Drake got a chance to say,
"I'll be back,"
before retreating to England. When he returned, the Spanish hailed him in peace. Then they boarded again and began again, stealing, killing, and beating people up. Drake wouldn't stand for such injustice, but he also couldn't stand against them, because most of his crew had retired, and so he got in a tiny little boat called the Judith and sailed away for England. The Spanish laughed, believing that no one could get across the sea in such a tiny little vessel. I mean, he'd have to be the greatest pilot in the galaxy. Drake, meanwhile, was swearing revenge for a second time, and he began trying not to drown as he crossed the ocean. And that's where I'll have to end it for today. Part 2 should be up in a couple of weeks. Be sure to check it out and find out what happens. But in the meantime, you can check out a book from the library. Or maybe go to your grandparents' house and ask for one of their books, like an old history book or something. I don't know. History's awesome. There's so much you can learn that you'll never really be able to learn it all. But on the bright side, it's not like anyone else will be able to, and that really shouldn't be your goal. Yeah, with that, cheerios. I hope you have a great day.